greatest things about being a stand-up is the travel that you get to do that you wouldn't have done otherwise. I've been to places I definitely wouldn't have otherwise been to. I've been to Switzerland. That was weird, actually. I think naively I expected it to be like other bits of Europe that I've been to, and it was quite unique. There was something quite weird about it, actually. It took me a few days to put my finger on it. What was weird about Switzerland? I was like, what is it? It's very friendly, it's very clean, it's very efficient, it's very neat, and then it hit me. I was like, hang on. Where are their ugly people? And they've had them killed. They haven't got one. I saw someone who was 100 years old, fit. I wasn't alone, I was with brilliant comedians. We toured across the whole country. Everywhere we went, we were met by local Swiss comedians who were on as well. There was something for everyone. Everyone had the same experience. We all realised, night after night, that if a Swiss audience love a bit of comedy, they go like this. Very funny. That's how they laugh out loud. So you get used to it, of course you would. Of course you get used to that over the course of a few weeks. I had my favourite gig in a city called Basel. They're a bit more relaxed. I'd had a few drinks. 2 drinks. That's breakfast in London. So they're a bit more like that. Really letting go. And I got heckled. I spoke to the man afterwards. He'd honestly meant well. I was in the middle of a bit and a man went... Great combination of writing and performance. Imagine what it'd be like in bed. So ways that we are moving around together physically is feeling very nice for me. Thank you so much for that. It's making my brain send signals all the way down the back of my spine, which is making blood rush around my groinal area at 30 times the speed it would do usually and bringing a nice turbidity into my genitals. Thank you for that. Yes, you're starting to make a little bit more noise now, which means your prefrontal cortex is finally breaking down. You're losing some of those inhibitions. I'm glad this is working for you too. Probably time for a faster bit. If we carry on to do this physical act together over enough time, I will start to feel with extra amounts of the hormones vasopressin, oxytocin, dopamine, and adrenaline. I will start to feel irrational feelings of devotion and commitment towards you that other people call love. Great combination of physical and visual stimulation. In other words, he'd be a keeper. I am naturally much scruffier than this. I blame that at the moment on having a small child. Not even 4 years old, and he's already a massive sexist. He is! All that trouble to get him out, and he is a sexist. The other day he went, Mummy, are you going to work again? I said, yeah. And he went, why? I said, well, for money, but also I love it. And he went, I'm going to come to your work, and I'm going to be the best at it. I said, oh, are you now? And he went, yeah, I can put my own coat on. The other morning, I popped the radio on, thought we were having a nice bit of mum and son time, and he went, don't dance, Mummy, not while I'm eating. Talking of what he was eating, talking of sexism, for about a year he called the breakfast cereal Weetabix Pick a Bitch. I really want him to grow up to respect women, but I did nothing to correct him. It's just a lot more fun of a morning, isn't it? What do you want for breakfast? Pick a bitch. You like that? Pick a bitch, please. Now, before I had him, and I was still pregnant, over and over again, I would say this to people. I don't care if I have a boy or a girl. I just want to have a strong daughter or a gentle son. What a prick. And as karma for that smugness, I've got a very violent boy. My ex-mother-in-law loves it because she gets to say to people, he's got his father's eyes and his mother's rage. And he's got all of his rage from me, sadly. And I think it's a shame because he is a boy. And I think it's a shame generally that in 2019, the vast majority of boys and men in the world still think that anger's the only emotion they're allowed. It's just not, I desperately want him to be more complicated than that, obviously, but I don't know how to do it. I genuinely don't know how to do it. I certainly think there's an irony in how aggressive it sounds to say, I'm gonna gender neutralize you. I constantly beg him to be kind. I try and encourage him to play with stuff that might make him more caring, and I dress him very colourfully like a tiny, timid mallet. I don't think that's harming anyone, but I've met some opposition. I was walking down the street the other day with my kid. He happened to be wearing a top that had a glittery unicorn on it. I stopped to talk to a neighbour, not someone I know well, but they'd changed the days they were taking the bins, and it was carnage. So her and I are having a bit of bin chat. Bin, back and forth, bin chat. In the middle of a lovely bin chat, bin, apropos and nothing, she clocks him and goes, what I don't understand is why people aren't bringing up boys to be proper men anymore. Why aren't people bringing up boys to be proper men? And what you can't sort of really say is, oh, I think we're just sort of tired of all the rape. Some of you didn't like that. If you didn't like that, I hope it's not because you're not tired of all the rape. We are. It's a big word, I get it. It is a big word. But it is all about context language, I think. Now that my son can speak, I'm having to be more careful than ever about what I say. And my lexicon is a mess. I pick up bits of language, little phrases and sayings off people. I don't know where they've come from. I don't necessarily think about them until I'm called on it. For years, I used the phrase over and over again. I'd say to people, oh, come on, grow a pair. Come on. It means like, get braver, get stronger. Oh, come on, grow a pair. I was saying it everywhere. And it turns out the phrase is actually about balls. Not nipples. I don't know how much time you've ever spent with the thought, but testicles, do you know the ones I mean? They are, across the whole of the known universe, where anyone can communicate, they are accepted as a symbol of power, strength, and bravery. How has that happened when they have the potential to be licked too hard? I've met a braver ice cream. They shy away from a chilly breeze. Wouldn't catch a nipple doing that, would you? What's that? It's cold outside. I'm joining in. Arguably, looking my best. And conversely, all the language we have for weakness is just as screwed up. If someone's done something cowardly, we call them a pussy. Excuse me, that is not a cowardly part of the anatomy, thank you very much. Even if it hasn't been through childbirth, which if it has, it's been through more than the character Carrie in the film Carrie. Even if it hasn't been through that, most of them are pretty brave on account of the adult lifetime of ineptitude that they will have endured. And if you're thinking, actually, that's from the Latin pusillanimous, yes, technically you'd be correct, but it is all about context, isn't it? And when Ian's leaning out of his white van and shouting, pussy, I don't think that's what he means. Someone's done something weak, we call them a chicken. You can cut a chicken's head off and it can still walk. The worst one, though, if someone's done something unstrong, we call them a weed. I don't know if there's any gardeners in. Weeds are the strongest bastard I've ever met. There's a weed called Japanese knotweed. You can cut it into 100 little bits, put it inside a plastic bag. It gets back out the plastic bag. This is a plant. It hasn't even got a face. Gets back out the plastic bag, meets back up with its mates, botanical term, gets back down into the ground, re-roots. It's so strong, so powerful, that it breaks up the foundations of buildings and destroys the value of property. Weeds can bring down capitalism, guys. And I'd like to see a pair of gonads do that. I have got no idea if my attempts to gentlify my son are having any impact whatsoever. I have no idea. I've seen one inkling, ever. He was playing with a couple of dinosaurs. He didn't know that I was watching. They were fighting. All his play is violent and fighting. But as the dinosaurs were fighting, I saw this. They were going, rah, 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 rah. And at the end of the fight, they went, goodbye, darling, goodbye. Yes, I did that. But the rest of the time, he's a nightmare. I'm so honest in my comedy about what a handful my son is. I feel like I need to reassure you, like, you know, I do love him. Don't ring anyone. I couldn't love him more. But if anything, that makes it weirder, because you've got this very extreme, very intense love for someone. That makes it more confusing when their behaviour is objectively disgusting. think it's best summed up in cliches with a 3-year-old, because the cliches are true. So genuinely, without a second's thought, I would jump in front of a car for him. But also some days because of him. Because even if you take all of the violence out of the equation, just arguing with somebody that entitled but with no empathy is hard. And usually it starts from the second that you've woken up. I don't know if you've ever even shared a house with a 3-year-old. Normally, when you wake up, their creepy little face is already there. Saying something like, "I've had a poo." They say anything that means that you have to get up. So once, I genuinely got, "All the taps are on." And there was one day in particular that I will never forget because of the relentlessness of it. And it did start from the second that we'd woken up. Being eyes open, I was like, "Good morning, darling." And he was like, "It's not morning, it's lunchtime. You're a lizard. I don't like Daddy. You're not my best friend. Can I have a knife?" Here we go. Come on, come to the kitchen. "I don't eat meals anymore, only eat snacks. Can I have a cake? 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 Can I have a cake right now?" That is not how you talk to me. "Can I have a cake, please?" Now I've got to give you a shitting cake. It's not even 7 a.m. That goes in, doesn't it? Brrr. "Can I have another cake? Can I have another cake? Can I have another cake? Can I have another cake right now, please? Can I have another cake? Can I have another cake?" The thing is, darling, what we've got to learn is that sometimes we want a nice thing, and then we get the nice thing, and we have to think, "Oh, wasn't it nice to have a nice thing?" Doesn't mean we instantly have to have another 4. "Can I have 4 cakes? Can 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 I have 4 cakes?" This went on so relentlessly that after a few hours of it, I, a grown-up, said to a 3-year-old I couldn't love more who asks for knives, and I meant it. I said, "Do you know what? You can have whatever you want." I swear to you, he went, "I don't want whatever I want!" And my friends are so kind about it. They're all like, "Don't worry, you know, it's just his age. He can't help it, it's just his age. He's just a 3-nager. That's what they say now. It's cute, isn't it? But I think they should be honest and call him a thrunt. This has been delightful. Thank you so much.